Hi guys, and welcome to another Dragonheir Silence God video. Guys, if you click on the thumbnail, you know, I've missed out. I've missed out for 5,000 points and I'm not on the top 150 ranking on my server. As you can see, the dragon is gone. My server has defeated. It's not there anymore. I can't grind it. I can't grind Eco of Clysadra points anymore. The only place I can get them is the clan boss, and the clan boss doesn't give you enough of those for getting 5,000 points in the next 8 days, and therefore the results are in. I am out. And for context, guys, I'm playing on Fontaine Interplanar 2. Fontaine Interplanar 2 is one of the servers with the highest concentration of content creator, YouTuber, big brain, big spender in the game. And you know, if you're watching YouTube and you know the big names of the content creator, they are mostly here. Ivy Lee, Odd One Gaming, Scratch, Arcelon, they're all here and they're all doing amazingly. And it's nice to be able to learn from them, and it's nice to be able to compete with them sometime. And that's the main reason why I choose this server, because I wanted to test myself against the best, in my opinion. And that is why I'm not upset to missing out, because I think I left everything on the table. I've tried my best, I've pushed as much as I could, I've made some mistakes along the way, and I'm trying to put them together in a video that can be a sort of review of my season 1 and in some way a beginner guide for whoever wants to start the game down the line, or maybe has just started the game and it can avoid some of the mistakes made, and a guide for us that already started the game and did season 1, and up front of season 2, maybe we can review what we've done and do things better. Now, all of this is my personal opinion, so if you disagree with anything I'm saying or you have a different opinion, it will be nice for you to share it in the message in the comments down below. I'm happy to have a, civilized conversation and talk about anything we disagree or agree and just make this experience fun. So let's start from what I've missed out by not being on the ranking, and we can see if it was worth it or not. So the main thing I missed out is the gold shop for the season. Your Eco of Clysadra are going to convert it to, I think it's 100 to 1. So you basically are going to have 2,991 points to spend in the shop, and are going to be able to purchase like dice, scrolls, and other materials useful for the game. The difference between the gold shop and the silver shops are not crazy, and with the points I have, probably would have been able to purchase pretty much the same amounts of resources. The other difference is the tickets you get from the ranking. Top 20% are going to have the common tickets. They're going to give me 1 legendary for 10 dices, so 2 legendary for 20, which is the same from the next tier up. The main difference would be that in this ticket, you have an increased chance to get legendary from the new champions introduced in the game, while I don't have that. It's going to be 3 light dices, 200 war marrow, and the flaming horse, which is an aesthetic thing that you can ride around the game. Will make a video much better, but it's okay. It doesn't change my experience. It doesn't change my game. It will not make me a better player. So I'm not upset about that. But as I said, let's jump in what I think are the thing I could have done better, and start to break it down one by one and go through them and see what we can do for the next season. So guys, the first point I want to start from is in your champion page. When you start the game, you're not going to have a lot of champions. You're going to start from the champions that the game gives to you, which are a bunch of rares and your main character. And then you're going to start collecting mostly rares and epics through the summoning. And obviously you have an entire game in front of you and you have a lot of content to defeat. And so you're going to have to level champions to do that. To progress through the game, you're going to have to level champion you have. And you can watch all the guides you want. You can watch everything. If you don't have the champions, you have to go through all your champions that you have and find something that's going to get you through that content. And so it's normal to level trash. It's normal to level champions that you're going to regret leveling. For me, I don't know, looking from my roster, Martina as an example, I've I've not used her at all. I got her early on and never used her. There are many others here that I can bring up. You know, I can just name champions, but it doesn't matter. Some of them have done their job at the time I've leveled them, and some of them I really never found a way to use them. But I think that is part of the process. When you're going to start the game, you're going to have to deal with what you have and what can get you by. So that is probably not a mistake. But that is something that I will do differently for Season 2. Because now I have the luxury of having more champions. I have a wider choice. And so I can be more specific in what I'm leveling. And I'm not going to have to compromise anymore. And so if you feel like in your first season, you don't want to level champions you're not sure of, but you're stuck somewhere, don't be too stressed about it. Level that champion, get through the content. You for sure going to pull something better down the line, but don't regret that. You got through that point, and whatever comes later comes. You can't be sure of the champions you're going to pull. You are sure what you're having now and what you need to do. So that is kind of a mistake, not mistake. The second point really goes with the first one and is related to artifacts. The reason why it's related to artifacts and champions is because obviously if you pull a dope champion, you can purchase one of the artifacts. As you can see, I don't have any of the legendary one. I have most of the epics. I've been quite lucky when we pulled, and I have all of the rares. Of course, when you start, you're going to start pulling dupe rares. You're going to build up your selection of rare artifacts very quickly, and you're going to be thrown towards building them. And some of them are really good. Some of them are waste of resources. You should not invest in many of this. The Banner of Oath is really good. The Luminary Order Gospel is really good for healers. But I don't feel like with this two exception, you really need to build anything else. You're going to start getting the epic one very soon, and those are massively more impactful. Start from the Crown of the Unclean if you can, and then work your way through the others, leaving the affinity specific for last. Those are the least priority you have. So forget about them, leave it for last, and get all the rest and start building them, because they're gonna change the way you can play some of the champion you have. Getting the accuracy, the ultimate skill recharge, the massive enlightenment, the opportunity to place decreased defense, the opportunity to survive to big hits, to heal your champions where they fall low in HP, or to do more damage in different way. It's massive. And so don't spend too much on your rare artifact. Again, if you need to get through content, do it. But if you don't, just keep ahead and try to push towards the epic one. If you're lucky to pull some of them very early, well, you know what to do. The next point I want to quickly touch is Arena. Arena is one of the things that I've overlooked for the longest in the season. I was not having fun playing it, and probably most of it is due to the fact that my selection of champion was not that great, and it took me quite a long time to figure out what to put together, what defense use, what team I can attack, and what tag team I can put together. And obviously in the beginning you don't have a lot of selections, so you can't make wonders, but as soon as you can, you should start pushing Arena, even if it's not the most fun content. But the rewards you can get are decent, especially from the ranking, because you can get quick every week a good amount of affinity solvent. And the affinity solvents are going to help you increase your damage. Your survivability of champions is going to help you through the entire game. And so if you can rank decently in Arena and Tag Team Arena, you're going to get a good stream of resources, and you're going to be able to build your affinity bonuses much quicker. And that's going to help you everywhere in the game. And that's going to lead me to the next point. And the next point is exactly that. It's the affinity solvent and the affinity bonuses. as you can see, I got through the season 1 and I have a good stock of resources over here, but I've not completed my affinity bonuses. I'm missing 1, 2, 3 levels over here. And that is probably due to the fact that I've completed everything to this level before even starting to do this one, to the last one. And that is a massive mistake, in my opinion, because if you're pushing audio content to one affinity, you should go through the entire tree to that affinity to the bottom of here. You should push your damage, you should push your survivability in that affinity, and then you're going to take care of the rest. If I could go back and redo it, for example, I will skip most of the resistance or even all the resistance, and I will focus from here onwards only on one affinity. I've not done that in the beginning, and I kind of regret that because it took me longer to get through with the rest of the thing. If you get one affinity to the top, you can do your vortex better, you can do your arena, you can build your dungeons, you can do everything better. And you can get ranking through the entire season and get more resources. They're going to help you build this part of the game much quicker. So yeah, if you can restart, when you're going to restart, or if you're starting over now, don't do like me. Focus on your best team and get it to the top. So the next point, guys, is the fact that if you can, you should try to use every single energy token that the game gives you. It doesn't matter what it is. If it is arena, it's arena token. If it's energy, you just go do some dungeon. If it's other world exploration points of energy, you go to use it on bosses or domains. It doesn't matter what it is. You're always going to try to push your content with all the energy you have and leave nothing behind. I did that mistake, and I'm going to show you now, and you're going to see why I'm regretting even more doing it. Because I give you the perfect example. During the other world exploration, I'm sure there's been a day where I forgot to use my last 90 energy on that day. I was supposed to do a couple of bosses more and use the rest on one of the domain. I got caught up with other things, I completely forgot, and I left at least 5,000 or 4,500 points if I use them all on the domain. Those 4,500 points would have given me 6,000 Clyxidra ecos of Clyxidra. And those 6,000 points now would have put me on that board we start talking in the beginning. Not a massive difference, but it was there. It was achievable. I just forgot of using it. And so guys, if you can use your energy, if you can use your tokens for arena, if you can use your energy for the next otherworld exploration, always try using them. Always try to push your account. You never know if it's going to bite you in the back at some point, like it did to me. So guys, here we are to the last point. Why is Vores on my thumbnail? And why do I think is one of our biggest mistakes of this season? Is he a terrible champion? No. He is the best epic in the game. As everybody's saying, he is the best epic in the game. He is the most useful epic everywhere in the game. So why is he my biggest regret? Well, it is my biggest regret because I got him from the £1 chest. The epic chest that you can purchase through the game. You can purchase for $1 or £1. And you can get any epic you want. And I could have chosen anything at the time. I didn't have many epics. And I ended up choosing him. And the deciding factor was he was ranked #1 everywhere, widely known as the legendary in epic dress. And I ended up having him. And also because my Necrosis and Ice team was really lacking. I didn't have many good champions. And so I needed someone to progress, I thought, toward that affinity. I thought you kind of needed to balance out your account, and I needed to push kind of equally through the different affinity. I ended up pulling shortly after Zarlot, and pairing Zarlot with Vores has done well in many parts of the game. But if I look back at the dungeons and my team for the bosses, the end game, Vores was kind of always one of the last choices. And why was that? Well, it comes down to me, to the point that he's the best overall, but he is not the best on anything he does. He is not the best buff remover. He is not the best healer. He's not the best support. He's not the best damage dealer. He can shine in very particular situation. If you have a crazy good Frost team to build around him, he's amazing. If you have the Witches Remain, he's crazy good. He hits the entire board 5 times. So you can place the decreased defense with the Witches Remain, which can be applied to many champions. You can place it pretty much on every enemy. But those conditions are very difficult to achieve. And my account is definitely not there. I don't have champions to pair to him to make my ice team shine. I didn't push that affinity pairing very much on the affinity solvent. I didn't have the Witches Remain. And so it kind of falls short of expectation. I ended up using him. Quite a lot in specific area of the game, if you want. But I ended up also replacing him with champion that did the same job better for that specific need I had for that content. If I needed to push buff removal, there are rare that do buff removal better than Vores. If I needed to have a healer, well, affinity was a factor. I could use Exandra, I can use Nathaniel, I can use other champions that were matching better my needs for that content. And so he ended up being sub out in many of my comp. And yeah, the point is, guys, this game, more than anybody else, more than any other game in the genre, it makes relevant affinity pairing, and comp synergy. You can choose any champion in the game, heck, even any legendary, even OP legendary. Like if you get Filto, but you don't have any other rally champion, he's not going to shine as he should. He's not going to be one of the best damage dealer. He's going to do a lot of damage, but he's still going to do less damage than wild pairing if you have wild and poison build-up. So don't take face value above your own analysis of what you have. If your roster is really strong in lightning, and next season lightning is going to pair with poison, well, maybe try to complete that area if you have the choice of getting one champion that you don't have. Try to look through, okay, I have amazing damage dealer in the lightning affinity. Who can pair with them to give me the support and buff clearing, decrease attack, etc., etc. So try to look what you're missing to make your team strong, and not just take face value and valuation on a tier list above what you have. Because I could have choose Furbath when I purchased that £1 box, and or I could have choose Vikuk, for example, and make my poison and fire team massively stronger early on in the game. I could have pushed Vortex more. I could have pushed some other content where I needed to remove buff and place decrease attack and heal my team back. You know, one of the two between Vikuk and Furbath would have paired better with my strength in my account. The strength in my account being season 1 and not having played in season 0 and not having a lot of champion was poison and fire. We all be given Erich, Exandra, you know, I pull my first legendary has been Ergander. Ergander is poison. So anything poison and fire would have been completing my team, and I would have been able to push way more content early on. And ending up choosing Vores meant that I didn't get those champions until very late in the season. I've not been able to push Vortex above 25 million until very late in the season. I've not been able to push anything with Ice despite having Vores, because I didn't have the champions to pair with him to push ice and necrosis. So that was kind of a waste. He's amazing. And if I didn't have them through the chest, I would have not had him because I didn't pull any dupe of him, right? And I will still not have him. But if I look back and I think, would that have hurt my account? Well, the damage it would have done is far less compared to the benefit that I could have had if I choose a better champion to fit my account. If I choose that Furbot, or if I choose that Vikuk, or if I choose, I don't know, anybody else, even Olas, for example, a big damage dealer poison, that would have probably had more impact on my account. And so therefore, guys, be careful with your choices. Be careful with what you're getting. And as a face value, no champion in this game is more important than the right affinity combination and the right skill combination. The synergy in your team is pivotal in this game. You absolutely need to look at your roster and think, these are my best champion. What do I need to make that team make the next step? And if I can get anything in the game, what is making me do the biggest step? And not what is just the best face value champion or what is the best considered champion. Because again, you can end up like me, having the best epic and not really being able to use them because you don't have anything to support them. So I know that this is quite controversial, and probably next season, if I start pulling those Frost Legendary, I'm going to change completely my opinion about Vores, and I'm going to regret saying these words. But nevertheless, guys, this is my point. And so I will be happy to know your opinion. What are your regrets for this season, if you had any? What would you have done differently? And how are you preparing for Season 2? What are you most looking forward for Season 2? So guys, share your opinions in your comment down below. Like and subscribe. And if you enjoy the content, I hope I see you soon with another content about Dragonheir Silent God.